Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Today is Wednesday, May 21st, 2025. And welcome to the Java Cafe. A little interesting this morning. We have our Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley coming in just about a half an hour. But first, as we've done, I believe since 20, but definitely since 21. Yes, we're in partnership with ABCD on the cuffing season and soon to come Hot Boy and Hot Girl Summer. We've been in partnership with them around cuffing season, but away from that, we have always partnered with ABCD around Summer Works and also LIHEAP. The deadline for LIHEAP has passed since April 30th, but Summer Works is back. And we're also going to talk about a very unique partnership that ABCD has with the Boston Red Sox and others called the Field of Dreams. And so we're going to hear about that with Ann, who is the Director of Operations at ABCD, in just a couple of seconds. But do me a favor, hit that share button and invite others into the Java Cafe. I'm going to go make sure that I'm doing the same. I'm going to ask you to do it in real time as we speak. And do me a favor, if you were a SummerWorks kid, I need you to put that in the comments. We're going to find out from Congresswoman Pressley if she was, and let me just invite others in before we bring Ann in. And as she comes in, please say good morning to her. For those of you that were at the cuffing season launch, you may recognize her a few months ago. So Ann, good morning.
Good morning to you.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing well. As mentioned, we have a guest coming in after you, and similar to you and our Congresswoman, guests like yourself, get me a little nervous. No, I'm messing. But and say good morning to the folks. And after you say good morning, can you answer a question that will be very popular in the next couple of seconds? But were you a SummerWorks kid?
Good morning, everyone. I was not a SummerWorks kid. My older siblings were SummerWorks kids.
Okay. So say good morning to everyone and tell us a little bit about yourself. We've met before. I'm not sure if you've been on before, but tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey and like how you ended up at a great organization like ABCD, long-standing organization in our community. But tell us, with all due respect, who is Ann?
Sure. Well, I'm a long-term born and raised in Boston, raised in Dorchester and Franklin Field projects. And everyone has always known about ABCD. Like I said, unfortunately, I was the baby of the family. I was not able to take advantage of being a SummerWorks kid, but have always known about ABCD, the services that they provide. And so how I ended up at the agency, I'm going to say I started here as a teenager, but I did not. I started here in 1994 after working at a for-profit company. Was not fulfilling at all and felt like being raised in a family that always it was in service, that I felt like I needed to work somewhere that I could provide, be in service to my community. Always wanted to stay and work in the community. So I ended up here back in 1994, and I've run several different programs since then, and was appointed Chief Operating Officer back in 2023. So I'm a lifer here at ABCD, like many of the folks that work here. Great organization to work for, and being in service to our community is just definitely what people who work here are built for.
It speaks to the mission of ABCD, and there's so, much intersection with a lot of us who have done summer works, who've taken advantage of LIHEAP, Head Start, either as children or parents, working parents who are taking advantage. But summer works is one of the staples of ABCD. And so can you, for folks that may not know, can you tell us what is summer works? Tell us about the partnerships, who supports it. I know there's a partnership, I believe, with the city. I think now I'm going back, from
yes,
being
correct.
also, correct. Okay. And also being a youth worker. Okay.
Yep.
So tell us what, for those that don't know, like, what is Summer Works? What does it do, for the young people? Yep. And what does it also do for the employers? Sure.
Absolutely. So Summer Works is a youth program that serves the children of, I say children because they're children to me, the youth, the underrepresented youth of Boston. The youth are all placed in nonprofit organizations similar to ABCD, other mission-driven organizations throughout the city, and they're allowed to earn a stipend while they also learn career skills. They earn a paycheck. They attend workshops. They learn how to write resumes. So not only are they learning, but they are also in organizations where they are able to see what it's like to work in a nonprofit that serves the community that they come from. So, yes, and they're mentored by other, other nonprofit organization leaders.
I wanted to make sure I'm in the background, excuse me, making sure we put the, because we like to put the links in the comments for folks that are interested. And so there's always the pieces you said that's an advantage for the young people, but there's also an advantage for the employers because they're, one, giving back to community. Absolutely. Two, let's just be honest, they're getting some level of labor, with the young people coming there. And so how, is there an opportunity still that ABCD is looking for employers to be not location sites? I forgot what they is it.
We call them partner sites.
Partner sites. See,
we call them partner sites.
Are you guys still looking for partner sites?
Always looking for partner sites. Always looking for partner sites. And we do partner with nonprofits on purpose. Because we do think it's important that our youth learn to give back to the communities that they come from. And so where they are placed are in nonprofit organizations or mission-driven organizations.
So with that, Ann, thank you, because you're lining me up well for the next question. What are some of the opportunities that young people have, in case parents are watching, or, well, they should be in school right now, in case some young people will watch after, what are some of the opportunities, some of the positions that you're aware of? What are the different, and it's not, can we just be honest, no disrespect, it's not just the red shirts. No. Remember, that was sort of the summer job thing, and I think that was a little bit more city anyway. But what if some of the opportunities or stories you've heard from SummerWorks experiences? Are there young people that started at SummerWorks and then they're 20 years in at an organization? Like, tell us the benefit of SummerWorks.
So I can tell you the biggest benefit is that they learn, work ethic. They learn work experience. And I can tell you also that we have quite a few former SummerWorks children that work at ABCD and have been here, who may have started it through SummerWorks and are, part of our, full-time staff now and have been here for many, many years. So, and experiences that I've heard, and it definitely from, I'm going to say older adults in my age group, have been that the skills that they've learned from their placements and after they come back year after year, and a lot of times are placed in the same partner site, the skills that they've learned and the connections that they've made at some of these organizations has been very important to them. The mentorship that happens year after year has been very important to them. And some of the sites that we place children at or youth at is they can be in an ABCD office. They could be at a child care program. They could be at another nonprofit's office. So it's not, they're not being placed in places that are not meaningful to them, where they're not going to learn a work ethic and career skills.
You know, I'm just sitting here thinking, and my first outside of me, and I got to remember, because I think one of my first jobs, I lied about my age. I was 12 and said I was 14 at the Valley Steakhouse back out.
Oh my gosh.
Back out on Route 9. So, hi, Ma. Anyway. But my first placement, and it's so interesting, my first placement for ABCD at it was 2000, and I want to say not 2000, Lord Jesus. I was a teenager. I got to go back a few years. I want to say 85. Oh God. I was placed at Massachusetts Public Health Association. This is a public health. So, you know, there's a lot of alumni, not only just there at ABCD, but a lot of guests that I have had on this show are alumni of ABCD, and there are elected officials who are alumni of ABCD SummerWorks. And so we just want to let folks know that you participate in ABCD SummerWorks. Ma, it was the 90. Well, my mother's in here. It was the 99 restaurant and Valley Steakhouse too. And what is the period for SummerWorks? When is it running? And also, are applications open yet on the employer side and also on the young people side? I remember back in the day that there was a buzz. Applications are open. Applications are open. Did you apply? Applications are open. So when is it open this season?
Yep. So applications are already open for both, for youth to apply and for partners to apply. And then the summer work season starts on June 23rd. And it's children can work. I keep saying children, I'm sorry. Youth can work anywhere from 6 to 7 weeks throughout the summer. And that also includes attending workshops. And so, yes, absolutely. They can go on the website and apply. And the applications are on summerworks.net, or they can contact our youth services department and get an application that way.
What is that phone number? We can put it in real time right now.
617.
Yep.
348-6548.
All right, we'll put that here on screen. Also, if you are watching, yes, on the Java with Jimmy side, I'll put it on the James Hill side right now. If you are watching on the Java with Jimmy side, the actual link is hyperlinked in the comments. And so you can go apply, especially if you are an employer that would like to be a site, especially if you are a nonprofit employer and would like to be a site as well. And so can we clarify, Ann, because I know through the years, there have been some changes with the age groups. I know one year when I think I was in the mayor's office through the budget cuts or whatever, the age went up one year to like 15. And, you know, you had that in between year with, you know, young people. And so right now, what is the age where young people can apply? And let's also note, June 23rd is kind of early. So shout out to ABCD, because if the young people are artists, so they can start working on June 23rd, or is that the orientation and all that stuff?
They can start working on June 23rd. Of course, you know, the first week is usually like orientation.
Yeah.
And their sites are already selected. Their partner sites are already selected. So, but the program starts June 23rd.
So, okay. So that for the young people, that means you get a couple of extra weeks paycheck. Because back in the day, if I remember, you didn't really start until after the 4th, right?
After the 4th.
So they get a chance to get a couple more weeks of pay. Okay. I'm not mad at that. All right.
On either end, but the program, you can be in the program for 6 to 7 weeks.
Okay. Yeah, because I noticed the end date is also August 29th. So that's great opportunity for the employer and also the young people. And so what are the ages and the number one? I'm trying to think, what was the pay rate when I was ABCD? I'm not, it was, $5.20. Anyway, and what is the age and what is the pay rate now?
So the age range is the age of 14 to 24, and you have to be 14 by June 23rd. And then the pay rate it's because of funding, it's different for different age groups. So from 14 to 18, it's $15 an hour. And then from 19 to 24 years old, it's $20 an hour. And that's due to funding, the
That's
funding requirements.
That's due to funding, but if I remember, the 15 is the state minimum wage, which is awesome for a young person in comparison to what we were making when I was in ABCD. And then so for 19 through 24, it's $20 an hour.
Correct.
Okay. And let's just do a little bit. It may be retraction, but can you just give an example just so folks know what are the type of things that folks need to have prepared to come as they are applying? I presume they can upload documents, on the website, but what are just some general things that parents can know to be able to support their young people? And then we're going to talk about the event that is coming up that supports a lot of this. But I wanted to make sure we spent some time so folks really know what Summer Works is and what it does even after Summer Works is over.
Sure. Yep. Of course, we have to have birth certificates. For the youth that are applying, they'll need proof of address to show that they're Boston residents, and then they'll need some specific information, income information from their parents. But we try to make the process as simple as possible. And if there is ever a question about the application, youth or their parents should reach out to the program. Don't wait. The sooner they apply, the better. And so if there's any issue with the documents that need to be provided, please make sure you reach out and talk to someone in the office so that we can help you get your applications in.
I want to make sure that folks know that this hyperlink is actually in the comments for you to be able to get the information. It is right here as well. So there's ABCD Summer Works. And as you said, due to funding, generally speaking, funding and economy and entities like nonprofits are really looking at a lot. And so one of the things that funds this program is the Field of Dreams. And so, Ann, talk to me about the Field of Dreams without smiling.
So the Field of Dreams, ABCD has partnered with the Boston Red Sox for about 26 years now.
Okay.
And it is a softball event that is held at Fenway Park, and it benefits the Summer Works and our youth programs here at ABCD. So Fenway Park and the Boston Red Sox, they've been gracious enough to allow us to use Fenway Park to hold the benefit. We have teams who sponsor their employees to play baseball or softball at Fenway Park. Great event. This year we'll be opening it up so that they can also invite their other staff, and they can do like a staff appreciation day, and they can have people in the stands cheering them on while they play their games. And we have tons of family things going on, face painting, food, that kind of stuff. So it's a good benefit, and we'll be having a good time cheering on the teams while we also are supporting our Summer Works and youth programs.
I definitely have heard about it every year. I have yet to make it, and I'm sure Lee and Jamie and I'm stuttering. I'm really going to try to make it this year. But again, we wanted to let folks know. So let's be clear. There's two opportunities being presented: to be an employer site, but then also if you can't be an employer site, and if you're a corporation that maybe for whatever reason you don't have the capacity to host youth, however, you want to give back, and they're getting a give back because if you sign up to be a team, you said there's an opportunity for them to have like a staff appreciation there as well.
They can have other staff come, not just the staff that are playing in the game. They can have their other staff come. They can have their families come and just support them in playing at Fenway Park.
Okay. Well, I want to make sure that folks know who they need to contact if they are interested in a team. And so this is where you can go to get the information about Field of Dreams. And we're going to go back to the SummerWorks information in just a couple of seconds as well. But if you are a corporation, if you are someone who also ABCD, if it, you can come to Field of Dreams, but if you just want to write a check, you can contact Megan McDonald at ABCD or BostonABCD.org for more information. Also, now, if I remember right, can the public buy tickets and attend, or is it just for the staff?
The public cannot buy tickets and attend.
Okay. So it's just for the staff. And so employers, if you got some staff that you want to get to Fenway Park, have staff appreciation, participate in the game, give back to ABCD, you need to hit Megan up. And let Megan
up. There is a sponsorship fee.
I was just and I love you as a guest. Because the whole point of this is funding. Let's be honest, is funding the SummerWorks and other youth programming. And in these times, we need sole proprietors, entrepreneurs, anybody that can contribute and be a part. You can be a small business and only have 14 people. Partner up with 2 other businesses and come and be collaborative team A. I don't know, but so let's be honest. Megan will tell you this as well, but let's talk about the fees and what it does to support the young people. Sure.
So the fee is $20,000 per team. A team consists of up to 22 players. And like you said, it could be 2 small businesses that want to partner up and play as a team. And each business pays $10,000. And the most important thing, $20,000 sounds like a lot, but the most important thing is who it's benefiting. It allows the businesses to give back to the community, and it also allows youth to get jobs during the summer.
And it's also an opportunity right now. Let's be honest. Some people, I'm a late bloomer to Fenway Park. Some people have never been to Fenway Park. We have people who have moved to Boston and maybe working for some employees have never been to Fenway Park. So you get an opportunity to be on the field. You get an opportunity to get the experience. And as an employer, you get an opportunity to have a little, you're getting 3, you're having a good time. You're building staff morale. You're at Fenway Park. That's 3. And also you get to have a staff appreciation early on in the summer, and no one can say that you all didn't do anything for your staff.
Didn't do anything for them.
Listen, can we just be honest? Because staff morale, everybody can't work at ABCD and have that wonderful environment of give back. And so staff morale, anyway, we're not going to get into that. So we're going to make sure that you remember that this information is in, let me just not lie. I think I put it in the comments, and if not, I'll put it in right now. This information is hyperlinked. I'm going to put it in the hyperlink in the comments so it can hyperlink. But please, you can type this in abcdfieldofdreams.org for more information. If you want to, again, sign up immediately, you can hit Megan McDonald up at megan.mcdonald@bostonabcd.org, and she will make sure that she gets you the information. This is taking place on Friday, June 6th, 2025. And again, right now in the back of my mind, I think this year, finally, I'm going to be able.
Come on out.
Friday tends to be the day off, and
but the day off can be fun. You'll be at Fenway Park.
Say it again. Say it like a true Bostonian. Fenway what?
Fenway Park. That's right.
No. You added a little bit of extra R right there. No, I'm messing. But Ann, let's go back and just where we started, because Field of Dreams, wonderful opportunity. We can't reiterate the benefits enough around staff appreciation there, getting some staff to Fenway Park. Excuse me, I'm gonna get in trouble because I was getting ready to be a little petty. Getting out the office for the day. Let's just keep it 100 too. You get a day off of work. You give your staff a free day off, but they're coming to give back. That is the major thing. So it's Friday, June 6th. Again, you can hit Megan McDonald, but you're hitting Megan and you're also getting the information from this website because it's summer work season. That is the whole reason why we're here today. And so, Ann, can you just talk about the flexibility of what supporting Field of Dreams does? Let's keep it honest. I believe this is, in a sense, unrestricted funds for ABCD to do what it is that they need to do, that they've been doing for, I can at least go back and attest to 1985. So at least that far back, and I know it's back a little bit farther. But what does supporting the Field of Dreams do for SummerWorks?
So it does. It helps us actually pay stipends to children. It helps us to actually run the program. And running the program doesn't just mean placing them at a partner site. It means mentorship. It means workshops. It means career development workshops. And so it's a package. It's not just a, here, let me place you in a job and that's the end of it. We want to develop the youth of the city. And that's what the goal of the program is. It is not just to place them in a job. And so that's what those funds help to pay for. And it's not cheap. We just, we've raised over $5 million in the 26 years through Field of Dreams. And that is a portion of what it takes to run this program. And so, whatever we raise goes directly to SummerWorks and our other youth programs. It is not used to fund anything else but those programs.
Absolutely. So, Ann, I'm going to be very honest. Anybody that knows me knows I'm transparent. Congresswoman Presley is coming on for a few minutes, and we went from about 20 people to 132. So out of the folks that are joining now to hear from our Congresswoman who advocates, has been advocating, is a partner to ABCD around just funding and things like that. What we're talking about with Ann right now is ABCD SummerWorks. They have an event coming up on Friday, June 6, 2025. And let me just put myself on so I don't get Ann in trouble. Friday, June 6, they're doing this event. And if you are, if you own a corporation, if you're an entrepreneur, or you just have a couple of dollars and time that you want to give back, get some folks together. It is a $20,000 sponsorship fee, but what you're doing is you're supporting the wonderful programming of ABCD SummerWorks. And while we probably have people in the room from all across the country, if you were a SummerWorks kid, no matter, and you could be across the country, put in the comments SummerWorks or ABCD and let us know. But I just want to make sure that folks know that are coming in to chat with our Congresswoman or listen, that right before she comes in, we have ABCD SummerWorks here, and I'm a graduate of it, alumni of it, so many elected officials, so many leaders in our city. And so Friday, June 6th, you have an opportunity to give back to community and to go to Fenway Park through this partnership for the ABCD Field of Dreams event. You can go to abcdfieldofdreams.org and get more information. Or if right now you want to make a commitment, you can email Megan McDonald at bostonabcd.org, and she will get you the forms, the information, and you have an opportunity to do a staff appreciation day. You get your staff out the office for a day. You get to go to Fenway Park, and you get the number one thing that you're doing as a corporation. You're giving back to community. So if you're a small entrepreneur, if you are a sole entrepreneur or a small company, you can get up to 20. What is let me just ask this. What is the minimum you need for a team? You can do up to 22. What's the minimum, Ann?
The minimum, I believe, is 10. So
if you got a couple of folks that want to come together and support ABCD, get ready and do that now. And our Congresswoman Presley is coming in just a couple of seconds. So, Ann, you got to hang out with me. And just, on the other level, what are some of the other youth programs that ABC does during the summer? I know there's the whole health services. I got to be with Maureen on Saturday. She came out. But what are some of the other things that ABCD does while we have these folks in the room?
You mean just during the summer, or what we...
During whatever you want to tell me. Now, you know a lot that goes on there. So whatever you think,
absolutely,
tell us.
So during the, all year long, we're doing tons of things. So of course, you have Maureen, who runs our health. She's the director of our health services department, and about our kiosk. And so we're still it's still huffing season. So.
Wait, hold on. And you set me up for an after dark moment there. You said huffing season. We didn't know cuffing, Jesus.
No, oh, I'm
Cuffing.
sorry, cuffing season. I'm sorry. I set you up.
Nope. Well, however you do it, if you huffing, you just want to make sure that you cuffing or huffing safely. Okay, I'm going to get the link. Go ahead, Ann.
So, of course, our health services department runs all summer long, all year long. And, of course, Head Start is still running throughout the summer. We have Summer Works. We have two career centers that we are running. We have an open house on one of our career centers coming up in June. The one that is located on 10 Malcolm X Boulevard in Roxbury. And we are running ESOL programs, of course, our food program. So we're always doing something. So if you stop by any of our neighborhood service centers, there are always different events happening at them. We'll be doing some block parties soon throughout the summer as well at our different neighborhood service centers. So we're staying busy and still running.
I want to make sure that folks know, as we were clarifying about cuffing, that and it's a serious thing because Maureen got me the latest stats from what's going on with STDs in the country. We did the country. I have to drop the state and then local soon. And they are very, very interesting. And so we're kind of making light, but cuffing season is real. And so though it's it's getting a little warm now, and y'all are making decisions of whether y'all going to stay together after the winter and all that other stuff. We just want to make sure whatever decisions you're making, that that there are kiosks at 3 locations: 110 Claiborne Street, 565 Warren Street, and
575 Warren.
I thought so. There's been this challenge, and that when folks are on, I've been getting the address right. So 575 Warren Street and then 714 Parker Street.
Yes.
Okay. So that's where the kiosks are. And 24/7, you can go and get the health information you need to cuff safely. And so once again, for those of you that are here, Congresswoman Presley is going to join us in just a couple of seconds. But you have the opportunity today to listen in on a conversation with Ann and I about a wonderful event that is taking place on Friday, June 6th at Fenway Park. It's called the ABCD Field of Dreams. And so please look that information up. Basically, if you're a corporation, you have a minimum of 10 people, up to 22 people, you pay $20,000 and you can go play ball at Fenway Park. If you want more information directly, you can hit Megan McDonald at bostonabcd.org. And I'm a hustler. When it comes to community, I'm going to make sure that these folks, as these numbers are rising, they done hit about over 400 now. If all of y'all go to ABCD right now, not just Field of Dreams, there's a donate button. Listen, I don't play. I'll probably get a text from
Thank you, James.
As long as you said thank you and I don't get in trouble. I don't want folks to say, this is my platform. I'm a graduate of ABCD. I know what ABCD does. Back in the day when I was struggling, I had to apply for LIHEAP for heating assistance. Yes. Been to a food pantry. My mother worked at APAC back in the day in JP. So okay. You getting me started. There's a whole relationship, with ABCD. So I'm excited about that. What we're going to do is give you, all right, they're getting our Congresswoman together. Hold on for 1 second. They are working it out in the background. But and it just is important to me, and I got this energy because I'm a living witness of knowing what ABCD does, and so when you've been there for a few years, you've got to see it as well. For you, what has it been like just to see through all of what our communities have been through the years and whatnot? What has it been like to see the impact of ABCD?
Well, like I said, I've run several different programs here. I've worked with older adults. I've worked with children and families. I've worked with the homeless population, and the impact that we have in how we see our families progress is phenomenal. I can't say enough about the staff here and how hard they work to get families from point A to point B, just to get them out of crisis and get them to stability. It's a lot of work, and a lot of us, we take it on, and we make sure that we can get them where they need to be. And where they need to be is determined by them, not by ABCD. We're not the ones who tells them, this is where you need to be. They're the ones who tell us, this is where I want to be. Can you help get me there? So
and I we got this energy, and I'm sure our Congresswoman is going to bring it as someone who advocates and currently we'll get into a lot of other things, but I know she's very familiar with ABCD as well. So yes. Congresswoman, we're going to bring you in so you can say hi. Hi, Congresswoman. Oh my God. I'm sorry.
Hello.
My sister is radio. Okay, Congresswoman, good morning.
Good morning.
Who I'm sure you know from ABCD. We were just talking to them about summer works. And you know the work. And so, Congresswoman, anything you would like to say to Ann before we go? They're talking about the Field of Dreams event that is coming up in June to support summer work. So we just wanted you to allow your opportunity just to say hi, and Ann as well on behalf of ABCD, if you want to thank the Congresswoman, because
I'll just express my gratitude just to Ann and the entire indefatigable team at ABCD, given a lot of the dysfunction and chaos that we're navigating daily on the federal level and the residual impact that has. It doesn't matter who's in the White House, who's at the State House, who's the City Hall. ABCD is always there. You've always been there. You've always stood in the gap and supported people, been that critical lifeline for people in the dawn of their lives, the prime and twilight of their lives. And I'm just so grateful to you, and an incredible legacy there at ABCD.
Well, I have to tell you, we're grateful to you as well, because we would not be able to do the work that we do without your support. And you've been a great supporter of ABCD. I can't say enough about how grateful we are for your support and your backing. You visit our programs, you know our people. And so we want to thank you as well.
All right. Well, stay encouraged. Okay.
Always.
Man, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you and all the team there at ABCD, and we'll talk soon, and I'll work on June 6th.
Thank you. We'll see you on June 6th, James.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Good morning.
I cut her. I'm sorry, Congresswoman. So, Congresswoman, how are you? You with all that you're doing, and I asked first with all due respect.
I'm ready. I'm ready. You want to know what's giving me joy? What's giving me joy?
What's giving you joy? Well, you're letting me know. The first question was going to be how you're doing, and from the energy I'm getting from you, you're good. But what's giving you joy, despite some of the things we need to talk about that you're working on constantly? One of them is funding, locally. And so, how are you doing? What's giving you joy? And you were just, the comments are blowing up. She's beautiful, radiating. You're my sister, and so when you popped on, I said, okay, Congresswoman.
Thank you, family. Appreciate it. Okay, I'm gonna give an answer that you wouldn't expect me to give. What's giving me joy right now, real talk, is Jamal Roberts winning American Idol. I just want to say that. If you've not been following that brother, he is anointed. I have Heal on repeat, and the nation definitely needs a healing. My normal practice every day is to begin my morning with Jonathan McReynolds. And
maintain.
That's what I use to guide me during my prayer, my meditation, reading the president's devotionals, which people know I've been reading that for over a decade. A book by Joshua Du Bois, which offers, and my husband posts it on Facebook daily, because that's something that we use to guide us in our marital prayer and meditations. But Jamal Roberts winning American Idol has brought me a lot of joy.
So that, the anointing and his wonderful riffs and runs and things like that. But we need this joy, Congresswoman. You talk about the arts, they're important. Things like the arts, Medicaid, Social Security, school funding, Head Start. Mm-hmm. I'm not you. I try to, take the softer approach, but we are at risk. Congressman, what's at risk? And then we had Senator Markey on. First of all, let's acknowledge the fact of what you did. And I want to say it right. Ramsway, say her last name for me, please, so we can say it right. When you went to the jail and advocated for.
Oh, yes. Rumesa Ozturk. Yes, my constituent from Somerville. Let me just very quickly before we get into some other things. You talk about what's at risk. We say things like democracy is at risk. And I think that's a very abstract concept for people. It's not until someone brings a wrecking ball to the federal government. Do you understand the ways in which you've been a beneficiary of the federal government every day, even when we're critical of it? And there are ways in which we want to see it strengthened and improved and more efficient. But democracy is one of those things that's so abstract that you don't realize until someone is eroding it, degrading it at every turn, that everyone stands to be impacted by the loss of it. And what happened to Ramesa Ozturk is an example of that. There's a lot of people that are like, well, what does that have to do with me? Well, let me tell you, to the Java family, if y'all care about mass incarceration, you need to care about mass deportation. If you care about mass deportation, you need to care about mass incarceration. I have visited people in carceral settings for decades to do the work to address mass incarceration, but in the meantime, make sure that I'm checking on the welfare and well-being of people where they're being warehoused, because mass incarceration, that system is incentivized by a for-profit prison system. Again, it's incentivized by money. Similarly, with mass deportation, those detention facilities are privately owned by billion-dollar corporations, and they are financially incentivized to do the work of mass deportation. And what happened to Rumesa was a violation of due process, her civil rights, and of her right to practice free speech. She has no criminal record. She had been charged with no criminal wrongdoing. She was denied her constitutional rights of due process. And really, it was just for co-authoring an op-ed that the president didn't agree with. So the point here is, when you have an administration that seeks to criminalize reading certain books, that seeks to criminalize seeking certain health care, that seeks to criminalize certain practices and programs like diversity, equity, and inclusion, it could be you tomorrow. So it was Ramesa Ozturk for co-authoring an op-ed centering the humanity of the Palestinian people, which is her right in exercising free speech. But it could be any of you tomorrow. And that's why you need to care. And that's why I traveled to rural Louisiana to conduct the work of oversight. I serve on the oversight committee, and because it's consistent with the work that I've been doing in carceral settings for a very, very long time, both in Massachusetts and beyond. And then when you see with my sister colleague there, LaMonica McIver out of New Jersey, and my colleagues in the Congressional Black Caucus like Bonnie Watson Coleman, and then along with the mayor, Ross Baraka, who traveled to that detention facility in New Jersey, again, to do the work of oversight. And what they were met with. And now LaMonica is being targeted by a weaponized Department of Justice, which I need to say, 2 days after Malcolm X's, what would have been his 100th birthday, the Black woman is the most unprotected woman in America. Yes, LaMonica is being targeted because she is a proxy for the Democrats, and they want to stop us from doing our jobs. They don't want us to do oversight, so they're seeking to use her as an example to intimidate us. And that's what their goal is in everything. They want a citizenry. Donald Trump is a dictator, and a dictator wants a citizenry that is ignorant and uninformed, that is indifferent to the suffering of their neighbors, says that's their problem, not mine, and a citizenry that is inactive. So we have to reject and resist at every single turn. But when you say what's at stake, everything, who stands to be harmed? Everybody, and especially by this Republican, cruel, partisan reconciliation bill, this budget that we're in the process of negotiating and we'll be voting on imminently. They're coming for Medicaid, kicking 14 million people.
Yep. Medicaid. Tell us, when you say it's at risk, Congress, give us the layman direct impact, because some people do feel that and we understand. Tip O'Neill said all politics are local. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a lot of people haven't experienced the day-to-day impact in this Mass 7. We know the stats. We know from, as you say, from Dudley so what is the daily impact that is at risk? Social Security, Medicaid, Head Start. Do y'all know people in Mass Health? I mean, again, I'm deeply concerned because one of the reasons why I believe we find ourselves with a second Trump occupancy is that he not only traffics in hate, but Republicans have been so effective in pushing this scarcity mindset, this othering, where people are really sort of digging in their heels with this
concerned about themselves and not recognizing how our freedoms and our destinies are truly tied. That's one of the reasons why I've been so encouraged by the public outcry around what happened to Ramesa, by the people showing up at 100,000 strong at City Hall Plaza for the Hands Off rallies. You all need to care. The fight for Medicaid impacts all of us. So if you're not personally enrolled in Medicaid, in Mass Health, again, this is insurance for low-income people, but not just low-income people. Chances are you have a family member or a loved one who is. Medicaid provides health care to almost half the children in this country. So this is what allows elderly parents and grandparents and people with disabilities to remain in their homes and communities. It's what covers the cost of life-saving medications for chronic diseases. James, you were about to uplift that statistic I always say, which people tire of me hearing. And I really don't care that you're sick of me saying it, because I'm going to keep saying it until the outcomes change. But from Cambridge to Roxbury, life expectancy drops by 30 years. That has so much to do with chronic disease. This is how people pay for those medications. This is your blood pressure medication. This is asthma medication, those battling heart disease. So what the Republicans are doing is cruel, is callous, and y'all, they're doing it under the cloak of night. I don't know if y'all are following what's going on. I mean, we've been, my members of the Democratic caucus have been in committee, in the Rules Committee, since 1 o'clock this morning. Republicans are doing this under the cloak of night, seeking to take away the lifeline that is Medicaid, which is health insurance, and which will have a disparate impact on those that are uninsured and underinsured, and also taking away food, SNAP benefits. So we're not being dramatic when we say that they want to deny people health care and hungry people food. Medicaid is a lifeline, and this will kick 14 million people off of Medicaid, denying them their health care. And then, James, just before, I move on, let me just tell a couple of stories that I pulled up, because I need people to understand, for the implications on the Mass 7 in particular. Okay, so there's Elizabeth from Boston. Her son was born with a rare genetic neurological disorder. He's undergone over a dozen surgeries throughout his childhood, and Medicaid has been a lifeline, providing him with ongoing access to care that would have been out of reach otherwise. There's also Dennis, who's from the MA7, the quadriplegic of 40 years, and due to a spinal cord injury, that's why he's been a quadriplegic, and he's also has unrelated autoimmune disease conditions. And so he depends on Medicaid and Medicare for health care. And the number of people that have contacted me that are living with HIV and AIDS, or people living with asthma. Elise from Somerville, she lives with asthma and a mental health disability. She relies on Mass Health to receive life-saving medication and to manage her conditions. So this is devastating. And it's all to give a cut to billionaires. I mean, it's crazy. Republicans have convinced people that Democrats are the party of the elites, and they have a cabinet that is just millionaires and billionaires, and every action that they've taken is to further enrich those people. They said they were going to cut costs, and all they've done is cut critical lifelines and programs.
Congresswoman, there's so much to unpack. And I know that you were advocating from relief of student debt to now you're also working on protecting the garnishment, because we haven't even got into the garnishment piece of those. And I know you know the stats of those that are being impacted about having their student loans turned over to.
Let me say that quickly, because I know we're tight on time. People have to understand this. So
I got all the time you got.
Okay, so I know they're going to try to pull me though. So you may recall, because Java with Jimmy has had me on a number of times, I was a lead negotiator in the House on student debt cancellation, racial justice issue, gender justice issue, a nearly $2 trillion crisis. And we pushed the Biden administration to take an executive action. The Supreme Court blocked that action that would have brought relief to 43 million borrowers, but we never stopped pushing. During COVID, we advocated for there to be a pause on student loan payments, and we continued to advocate for an extension of that. So for 5 years, there were a lot of people that were not paying on their loans. And then in the meantime, there were people that were being forgiven their loans because of public service loan forgiveness, because of the SAVE program and other things, okay? And so now what's happening is we restarted the repayment process, and a lot of people didn't realize that. So they think they're still in forbearance, but they're actually in default. So there are 5 million defaulted borrowers that are at risk. And there's many more that are on the precipice of going into default that don't realize that Donald Trump is saying, if your loan is in default, that they are going to do offsets and seize your Social Security. They can seize your tax refunds, and that they are going to garnish wages. And so when you layer this with these assaults and attacks on people's health care, denying people food, chaotic tariffs, the cost of living already being a struggle. And then, James, the fastest growing constituency of student borrowers is actually 55 plus. So you're talking about people on fixed incomes who stand to have their Social Security benefits seized. Benefits that they've earned. That's an earned benefit because they've defaulted on their loans. And we know that system is already a broken one. Okay, then the last thing I would say is the reason the Republicans are doing this, yes, the cruelty is the point, okay? But it's also that they want to undo the progress that has been done on student loan debt. And they want to dismantle the Department of Education. Now, even though it takes an act of Congress to dismantle the Department of Education, they are degrading it, James. They're degrading it. When you've laid off more than 50% of the workforce, if you have a question as a student borrower, you can't reach your loan service provider. You could be on the phone for hours, days, to find out what are you eligible for? What is the status of your loan? And then if you try to reach the Department of Education, which is where these loans historically, where you would go for FAFSA and things like that and questions, when 50% of the workforce has been unjustly and unlawfully laid off in the name of so-called efficiency, you can't reach anyone. So myself and Senator Booker and Senator Warren have introduced the Ending Administrative Wage Garnishment Act to just stop the tool of garnishment because it's cruel and it always has a disparate impact on our most vulnerable. And to do that right now, given this unpredictable and chaotic state of the world brought on by this Trump administration would just be devastating.
Congresswoman, there is so much there, questions, comments in about a whole bunch of things from Sudan to some things. And I know, you're a Democrat, you love your party, but I presume that, you're doing what you have to do on the political side of promises that were made in party stuff and things like that. However, I wanted to ask you, and I'm sure you've noticed it on your radar. I saw you run off stage the other day to a family at the Peace Walk, and just the what do you say, people that have been closest to the pain and to be closest to the power. A lot of this is what's going on.
You saw me run off the stage. My staff was on the ground like, where did she go?
So let's do that for a minute, because my boy had to pull me because I saw your energy and I forgot you had security. And I literally was coming behind you like, what's up? Like, because I saw your energy, but it was the urgency. I believe you went to go see a family that has suffered from violence and homicide.
Yes,
but
her son was murdered, and it was her first Mother's Day. And so I wanted to make sure that I was able to wrap my arms around her because I didn't know if I would see her in the walk. But I'm so grateful to you because you've been, advocating and doing the work of healing and breaking cycles of violence and making sure that people can access those trauma supports. You've been doing that for a long time. So thanks.
Yes. In one of those veins, I'm sure this has been on your radar. I wanted to ask you to speak to this issue of the impact of a lot of these policies for people that are on poverty. You understand the cruelty that they're trying to do. It seems like they're trying to cause chaos. And when people are dealing with poverty, there's a lot that's going on impacting families. A lot of our young people are being classified as running away. And then I'm sure you've seen the thing of missing. What is it that you would say to that issue, if you would, to parents, the importance of youth workers? It's just when we confirmed you coming, I know your work there's foundation here from when you were a counselor. So I know your work in this space. What is it that you would say to parents and to young people to balance? Post-COVID is real for our young people and our parents, but this is an issue, AP, with all due, that is going to be exacerbated if what we talked about a few minutes ago goes through. It's inevitable. And so what is it that we can say to our parents and encourage our young people? Anything you want to say and speak to that, Congresswoman?
Okay, so let me just say this, a transition here.
Yes.
So again, this reconciliation bill that Donald Trump calls a big, beautiful bill is big and ugly and is going to cause a lot of harm. Again, Medicaid is about health insurance, health care for chronic disease. It's for reproductive care. It is a lifeline for so many. And whether you're on it or not, you know someone who is, and it's going to affect a lot of people. Similarly with SNAP, okay? So I say all that to say, the best gift that you can give any child is a stable adult. And when adults have been completely destabilized because no matter how hard they work, they can't get ahead. If they are managing the threat of gentrification, displacement, if they are now dealing with the fact that I don't know if I'm going to be able to feed my child, I don't know if I'm going to have health care for my mother, who I'm a caregiver for. So the best gift you can give a child is a stable adult. And the adults are very destabilized. And I think culturally, I said this long ago, that trauma would be the second pandemic. And we were so squarely focused on our economic recovery. And this was something that I've been advocating for, was a White House summit to really prioritize the issue of community healing, because the trauma of all those lives lost and just watching it on a screen, and I think people became desensitized. But we've changed. There's something in the DNA code of who we are as people and as a society that has fundamentally, radically changed. You feel it in your own body, and so our children, we cannot allow them to be collateral damage and casualties, because in our quest to just survive, in this fight or flight, that we overlook them, that we need to lean in even more. We need to wrap around even more. As adults, because of the strategy of this administration, they mean to overwhelm us. They want us to feel that this vision that they have for the country is an inevitability, but it isn't. Even this very, evil bill, this big, ugly, harmful bill that they want to advance is not an inevitability. The Republicans are in the majority in the House, but they only have a 2-person majority. So we just need 4 Republicans of conscience who are more concerned with doing a job than keeping a job, to fight for their constituents and to not be cowards and be complicit in this harm. So again, we don't have to treat these things as an inevitability. They can be stopped. And we have to reject it at every turn. Now, people, I see my nephew, Danny, in there, talking. I didn't see his comment, but I want to say,
Danny, but go ahead.
No, listen, there's a lot of frustration about, I think, a 2-party system, and a lot of frustration about Democrats. And my feeling about that is, one, Democrats can't operate with scare power, because scare power is not power at all. We have to do, in order to rebuild this party, that it is intergenerational and multiracial. We need to be bold. This is not the time to moderate aspirations. People are like, y'all have had the House, you have the Senate, you have the White House. Why don't we restore voting rights? Why don't we pass George Floyd justice and policing? Those things are very, very real. We win when people feel the impact of our work, not because they heard it on Java with Jimmy, not because they read a press release, but because they're benefiting from student debt cancellation. They're benefiting from a permanent child tax credit. They're benefiting from the reparative work of restorations. They're benefiting, and that they have increased access to the ballot because we restored voting rights. So those things are all very real, and that's the work and the push that I do. And just to be clear, I didn't just push the Trump White House. I push everybody. It doesn't matter. I push everybody. It doesn't matter who is at the White House. Now, we're navigating a much harder landscape. I got to keep it 100 about that, because we are trying to meet the lawlessness of this administration with the rule of law. And that is why our best defensive strategy is litigation. And we are winning cases. We are winning cases. I'm grateful to our Attorney General, Andrea Campbell, and the many Democratic AGs throughout the country, because that's our best defensive strategy. Now, the issue, James,
yes,
is whatever we do is going to feel woefully inadequate and to fall short because situations are dire, the pain is acute, and people want you to fix it right away. We don't have tools to fix it right away. But you know who does have those tools? Republicans. Y'all need to focus your energy. I'm out here flooding the zone, matching the energy, of the Republicans, getting at this every way possible, through the rule of law, through civil disobedience, through protest, doing oversight, pushing. But my tools are limited, but I'm exhausting all of them. Their rhetoric hits different. The policies hit different. We got to move different. I'm doing that. Okay. But the fact of the matter is, all they have to do is say no. I have a bunch of tools, but my ability to immediately stop your hurt, I can slow roll some stuff. There's some things we might be able to obstruct, but I've got to leverage all these different tools trying to match lawlessness with the rule of law. All these Republicans in the House need to do is say no. That's it. And the reason these hearings are happening under the cloak of night, the reason why, just bear in mind, look, I'll be 10 toes down and I'll come to a town hall and I'll listen to your grief, your grievances, and talk about, how to lighten your load and to alleviate your pain to the best of my ability. Republicans are not even doing town halls. They won't come and be 10 toes down. They're running scared because they know that this bill is deeply unpopular. So they have a one-word response and action that could stop this hurt. No.
Somebody said no is a complete sentence.
No.
Period.
They have to say no. But because Trump traffics in grievance politics and a culture of retribution, they are all afraid of losing their seats. And for that reason, they are being cowardly and complicit in wholesale harm, which is why we have to remind them how many of their constituents are Medicaid recipients.
It's going to pay.
There's 80 million Medicaid recipients in the country. And again, in urban communities, in rural communities. And so I'm like, listen, if y'all don't want to listen to me, listen to your constituents and the people who sent you there. And if you don't want to fight for the people who sent you there, then give up your damn seat.
They don't care, Congresswoman. And I know you got to go in the team and we done went way out there, but thank you, because that local issue that got us here, all politics are local. And these policies, you got Danny talking about scholarships. You got Miss Teresa talking about the impact of COVID, as you said, and different things like that.
And let's not forget the arts. I can't not talk about that with my nephew being on here and I know today's Wednesday, so I'm going to say my women crush Wednesday is Danella Clark, and the Boston Arts Academy and the incredible alum, there. But we have to fight in defense, of the arts. That's what
we started there. We started today.
And so if y'all didn't know, we were there at the Museum of African American History on Joy Street, fighting in defense of them because, they are getting it threefold. When the Republicans want to dismantle the Department of Education, which museums teach, Republicans want to defund diversity, equity, and inclusion. And then they're attacking the Smithsonian through an executive action because they don't want any museums that are race-centered. They consider it divisive. And so people think that's just about our beloved Blacksonian and the museums here in Washington, which we have to fight in defense of. But there are some 200 Smithsonian affiliates, and all of our museums benefit from that educational enrichment, from research, from sharing exhibits. All of those things are under threat. And of course, they seek to erase our history because they seek to erase us. It's all connected, but so it's unfortunate that maybe not everybody, and I thank you for talking about it, realizes that when we talk about assaults on our democracy, you cannot exclude arts and culture and our cultural institutions from that. It is one and the same.
It's a thing that also knows it's an impact that brings us joy. Congresswoman, we're way over time.
Yes, I have to go.
Always welcome to come back. Thank you. And give my brother and Cora and everyone my best, and we'll talk soon. But thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for naming that you got limited tools and where the focus need to be where it needs to be. But thank you for using the tools.
Hold us accountable, push us most definitely. But I hope y'all are paying attention to the Black folks. It's the Black folks that keep putting their bodies on the line and putting ourselves in harm's way, please do take note of that. So it would be nice if protect Black women wasn't just a hashtag, but was an actual practice.
Yep.
Okay. But I'm going to keep doing this, honoring the tradition, the long-standing tradition of Black women throughout history as the truth tellers, the justice seekers, the table shakers, and the movement builders. MAGA is a cult, but it is a movement. And the only way to beat a movement is with a movement. So I just want y'all to know that the work in defense of our democracy, the work in defense of Black people and marginalized people in this moment cannot just be left to 212 Democrats in the House caucus. That is the work of everyone. We all have to summon the imagination, the strategy, and the stamina in this moment, because this is not just about navigating the next 4 years. It's not just about how do we weather the next 4 years. This is going to shape the next 100. So this is going to require everybody. I got to go.
Yes, ma'am, because, love you.
Don't ever let me on again. Bye-bye.
No, I love you, Congresswoman. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye, y'all. I got to get. Thanks.
I need a. All right. There's I'll put some links up from they were trying to get Congresswoman off, and I didn't pay no attention to the chat. I'm gonna put these up to make sure you have them. Oh God, there's a lot of links in here. And so there's a press conference hosted with the Medicaid piece. I'm gonna put that in. I need a commercial break. I'm going to put these comments. I'm going to put these articles in the comments. If you're watching on James W. Hills on Twitter, I don't know if you're going to be able to see them. But and there's more articles and stuff. Hold on for 1 second. Thank the team in the background. And we're good. We're good. Thank you. It's just, it's a lot because it's the proof of the work, that she's been doing. So AP has brought some energy in here before, but oh boy, but the sounding of the alarm is real. And all politics are local. And I'm just going to say this. Spin, you know what? I'm going to behave. Union Capital members, you all get 90 minutes for watching today. If you don't know, this program is a community-based space, and Union Capital supports programs, supports their members by giving them points for gift cards for participating in community-driven events. They get 90 minutes today. Obviously, yeah, I need to debrief with my own self. So yes, he said he leave for 1 second, and Ion is on my screen. Shout out to Terrence and others from Salem State University. We y'all pay attention. The full impact of not just most of these policies, if you look at being fought in courts. That's why there's this all-out attack on the judicial system. And if even in the proposals, as the Congresswoman said, there's a culture and a market, but the boy, I'll call him a boy, is a marketing genius. The messaging, the consistent of driving messages and whatnot, they have a mental health impact. And this correlation I was making with her to speak to the local issue, this is the stuff that I've been talking about, that we have a buffer of the governor here. We have a buffer of the mayor here. All politics are local. All politics are local. All politics are local. Kenzie Bach, we didn't even get into the housing piece. From what I saw yesterday, if a lot of this stuff goes on with cuts with Section 8, thousands of families, multiple thousands of children could wind up being homeless. We got to figure out for a period, and Kamala said in her speech a few weeks ago, if you listen to what she said, it's going to get worse before it gets better. she's the Congresswoman sounding the alarm. Kamala's sounding the alarm, noting Black women. We got to pay attention, and whatever buffers we need to keep in place locally, so that national white racist billionaire agenda doesn't demonstrate itself, because all politics are local. And if you understand what I'm saying, then you understand what I'm saying. So with that being said, shout out to Helena that just jumped on Instagram, our wonderful chief of strategic partnerships for the wonderful national organization that I don't remember the name of right now, but shout out to Helena. Pam, good morning. Sis, you missed it this morning. Good God. Milagro is in the building. So obviously Milagro's on. Either she made it home, or I did see that and my mother texted me, her and Milagro must be in contact. Milagro had a planned procedure this morning, and folks are in here praying. So Milagro, glad to see you on. Hope all is going well. So that's it for me. I'm tired. Don't forget ABCD Summer Works. Don't forget Field of Dreams on January 6th. I'm sure Pam has something, Lord Jesus, has something coming up soon. Section 8 has already begun to send out letters to landlords asking them to forego. That's the one I think I'm referring to, Miss Teresa. There are screenshots of that going around on social media. So I don't move in doom and gloom, but I move in reality and preparation. And we want to start saving. We want to start, paying attention to what's going on as much as possible. So with that being said, make sure for those of you that are joining the Java Cafe for the first time, especially those of you that are over on Twitter, follow us. Go to our Facebook page, Java with Jimmy, and also my personal, follow and like. Go to YouTube and subscribe. Where else am I? And TikTok. I get in trouble from the team when I don't do the promotion. But please understand, if this is your first time here, the mission of this platform is to engage in conversation for the purpose of sharing information and resources with the most marginalized communities, to mobilize them, to use them, and then also get them to a point to participate in civic engagement, so they can be the change they want to see, and they can also participate in creating an equitable life for all, especially the most marginalized. So just so we're clear. So Milagro said she's heading home, but thankfully everything went well. Got to wait for the results of the biopsy now. Milagro, you know how we move in here. You know those results are going to be well, and they're going to be favorable. They got to do what they got to do the biopsy just to prove that you're going to be fine. So we'll leave that there. Miss Teresa said she has a friend that received the letter, so it's real. Pam, you definitely want to go back because AP served that hot Java this morning. So yes. Milagro said follow on all platforms and sign in as many as possible. Anyway, I'm going to get ready to go. But for those of you that heard what the Congresswoman was saying, yeah. We have to keep fighting. All right. That's it for me. I am going to chat with everyone. Tomorrow is Thursday. Tomorrow I am bringing Terrence. Good to see you in the room. We'll see you later, brother. Tomorrow, and Michelle, I got to follow up with you. Michael McPherson of Elevated Boston is coming into the room to talk about the Elevate conference that's taking place on, I believe, May 30th and 31st. It is a sort of Christian, I describe it as a Christian hip hop culture movement that this man has been working on for at least over a decade. So he's coming in, excuse me, at 10 o'clock tomorrow. So we'll be here tomorrow at 10 a.m. And I think that is it. Don't forget, Memorial Day weekend is this weekend. Plan well, be safe, all that stuff. We know what Memorial Day weekend can and has been sometimes in the past. So, all right. I will see everybody tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for Michael McPherson. And I think that is it. The June 28th Museum of Science. I'm not stressing people to come. I got some updates. It's a little bit shorter window and quicker. Dope to be on the world stage at Museum of Science, but I'm not stressing you all to come. It's in the morning. It's on a Saturday morning. That light looked like it went out. It's on a Saturday morning. But other dates and stuff, I really don't have that many right now. And in the next week or so, we will have our fall date for the big 5-year celebration of 5 years of Java with Jimmy that I've been telling y'all we're going to pull back to the fall because we're going to be at the Museum of Science, 2 floors. This is Aaron's already doing some talking and planning. So, all right, Carlita, good to see you. BAMS Fest is Saturday. Good to see you in the room. All right, folks. Elder, Bishop, Centoria Grant, be safe, everyone. All right, folks, that's it for me. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to support ABCD SummerWorks Field of Dreams event that is taking place on June 6th. Don't forget, if you were tuning in or watching for the first time, follow, like, share the Java with Jimmy platform. We talk with elected officials. We're going to get back to talking with more community folks that need some exposure and amplification of the work that they're doing. And we also move in the space of health equity. We definitely support Black-owned businesses. We support women. We support the LGBTQ plus community. We support the ADA community. You may have stumbled into the Java Cafe because Congresswoman Presley was here. But if you need to come back for some community engagement, health information, a mental health focus, Black men focus, Black women focus, DEI focus, equity for the most marginalized community. Yeah. And highlighting this wonderful brand here, Black Dollar. Go check them out. Y'all have a wonderful day, and we'll see you. To Milton. I didn't see the comment before I threw it up. Whatever, bro. Saturday morning, January 20th and 29th. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. June 28th is my event. January 28th is my event at 10 a.m. at the Museum of Science. That's the clarity. And then the 5-year anniversary will be in the fall. I just seen some comments about the date, but June 28th at 10 a.m. will be at the Museum of Science. All right. Y'all have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Michael McPherson, Elevate. Peace, y'all.